Hey everyone, I'm not Jason Cole,
And I'm not Jim T. Graham.
and you are listening to the RCGroups Hangout. This is the Joe Nall 2019 in review. Jason, it feels like we were just live on the air seconds ago.
Well, how about that? Deja vu.
Deja damn vu. So Jason and I were going to do a recap of this last week from, I think Jason just fell out, but he'll be back. We were going to do a recap from the actual Triple Tree. Jason was there and I was here, but we couldn't do it last week. So that's kind of a drag, but we checked it out and everything was hot, smoking, and live and allowing us to go and talk to you today. I will jump over to the live feed, but before I do that,
Oh yeah, I'm there.
Okay, you're there. Is there anyone in the live feed? Because I want to share some stats.
Yes.
All right, well, then I'm going to go ahead and jump straight in. You can't wait for everybody, otherwise you'd be waiting your whole life. So here's some stats, and I actually spoke, Jason. This is the guy that they hired to help run Joe Nall, or actually Triple Tree. Joe Nall is just
Rob Williams,
and he was a part of Sun and Fun, and now he is helping promote Triple Tree in general. He came and sat down and talked to us, and it's interesting, because he's never been in the RC world, so he wasn't aware of exactly who we were and why we were there. But he sent me some numbers and we discussed them. And then he said, let me look at some more of these numbers and I'm going to get back to you again. So he did. And these are the hard numbers that are good to broadcast out. Registered pilots, 1,380, 61 vendors, and total attendance, 14,330.
Yeah, man.
So the biggest number I remember ever hearing in total attendance was 13,000. So, and it did feel bigger. Did it feel bigger to you?
Yeah, somebody asked me, somebody said, it doesn't feel as big this year. And I was thinking, well, they've got about a bazillion more camping spots and areas opened up. So the whole facility is just larger in general. So yeah, everybody's just more spread out.
Yeah, it felt, I can't get on the live channel. It felt, more spread out to me, and it did. I never thought, boy, there's no one here. I thought there were people on every square inch of the ground.
I just chatted you the link for the live view thing to maybe try that.
It took me to the mid.
Yeah, it's like every year they keep expanding and adding things and just making it bigger and better. It's the premier RC event in the world, in my opinion.
And so we got down there on an eventful trip, and sometimes you can run into weather, and I would have to say that it was a little bit rainy and cool the few days before that we weren't there, and I feel like we missed that in a good way. And when we got there, it was just perfect. And I've been there years where it was stupid hot, and it wasn't.
Perfect temps. There were zero monkey butt issues.
Yeah. It was warm, but it wasn't crazy warm,
Yeah.
So I think what I'm going to do now, usually we're doing this right after we get back and everything's vivid in your mind. But this time things have happened. Time has passed. Oh, sorry, 1 second. So what we're going to do is go to our event coverage. And of course, to find that, I simply went to rcgroups.com and clicked the transmitter up here. And then I'll scroll down to the earliest. So Miss Ashley did travel with us to the event. She was headed out to do some modeling for Extreme Flight. I actually saw her model with multiple planes. So I guess she was helping people as she could. And I made her ride with me from the top to the bottom and dropped her off at her camp, but not before we got the Joe Nall photo here. Jason, I did have to Photoshop the banner lower to get it into the banner size.
Oh, that's tricky stuff there.
Just in case you were noticing. And we'll pop through our intro photos. So this is us just getting there. And that's our golf cart full of luggage. And these are the very first people I ran into, some of the closest members of my RC family. These are people, when you go to an event, you see someone like you might sit in their camp for an hour if you're needs to drink some water and chill out. These are the Ducias, the mom and dad of Jace the Ace Ducia, who's become a damn powerhouse in the industry.
Yeah, man. He's the man.
He's everywhere. And then friendly faces that we know. So this was interesting to me. I had not seen it. This is the new paved runway on the electric line.
Negative Ghost Rider. I thought it was
What?
paved. I thought it was paved too. But no,
Oh,
that's actually felt. It's like cloth
oh.
that they've put down, and it'll
Well,
deteriorate in a few years, and then they'll put a new one in there. But it
very
looks like a
good.
daggone paved runway, doesn't it?
How did you know that? Did somebody tell you that, or did you walk
Yeah,
out there?
they posted about it, and then they were talking about it.
I said it looked to me like the deck of an aircraft carrier, and
Yeah,
that was echoed by other people.
yeah.
So
My only,
this
my
one,
only issue with, not that there's an issue. It doesn't have to be an issue. It's just kind of far away from the pilot station. So if you're wanting to land on it,
right?
normally you might be used to landing on a runway that's a little bit closer to your station, so you just had to adjust. But
My
they made it to where you could easily, like, there was almost no transition. Like, they made it smooth. So if you ran off of it into the grass, like,
right.
your plane didn't really care. It just, it's not a big deal.
I figured they left the grass in the front for all the people that wanted to take off of grass.
Yeah, it's definitely two runways there. There's a grass runway and the felt runway.
So one thing
is what is somebody saying it is what it's called.
One thing I have to say is that in years past, and I've been doing this. Well, Jason's maybe going longer than me to this event, but I've been doing it for 16 years.
I think I've been 20. I think I got 20.
RCGroups was never, they never cared about Joe Nall very much. It was always Flying Giants because they flew giant scale airplanes. This is a giant scale event. But I will say that the electric line was so populated, and there are RVs all back in these trees, that the people talking about this event on RCGroups was as big or bigger than people talking about this event on Flying Giants. Very interesting.
Yeah, and then I think Triple Tree acknowledges the electrics as responsible for their largest growth. It's due to the electric section in line and people coming in for that.
And with that said, something that you never saw in years past, but see now, is they have this covered structure. And so under it was Horizon Motion RC, which Jason did a couple of stories on, Hobby King. And they had people out there answering. Were they selling, Jason?
Some were selling, most were not. But they were there. They had a lot of demonstration models. Every day they would do like a electric demo at like 3:00 after the noon demos on the main line. So you could have your own electric, and they would showing off the wares and answering questions and letting people fly planes and getting a firsthand look at the stuff that's up and coming.
So I want to just in memorial, I have to pay tribute here.
In memorial,
I've got her right here. It's sad. As far as I know. Let me stop for a second. Hold on. There we go. Let me find my mouth. All right. So this laptop was purchased around 2008. And this is a laptop that's gone to events all over the world / country. And the photo that we were just looking at, this is what made me think of it. That is the last batch of photos. Unless I do something, I have tried and I'm pretty good at bringing things back to life and not having to spend money, but I have not been able to bring this computer back to life. The hard drive went out right in the middle of the show. Jason can tell you, I spent hours trying to bring it back so I could push photos out of the event. Yeah. And when I got 2 days ago, I decided this thing was dead. I don't know, but, I just want to pay respects to that laptop that's been, drug around in golf carts all over the country. R.I.P. 2008 MacBook. The exciting news is its replacement will be here tomorrow, and I'm pretty stoked about the whole damn thing. There you go. All right.
Well, can I say one thing that I thought was pretty cool on the electric line before we move on? We had a first-time vendor come to Joe Nall. And that was Kennedy Composites.
They were there? I didn't see them.
A sailplane. Yeah, they were on the electric line, just out in front and to the right of that shot right there. They were in a tent row. There's a couple of vendors on a tent row there. And so it was cool. So I before I knew they were there, I saw a guy walking, and he had an Elf. It's a little 1 meter wood and composite DLG glider, like a good little starter plane for a few $100. And I was like, where'd you get that? That's a cool airplane. You're going to like that. And he was like, oh, Kennedy Composites. I was like, yes. It's like, you're going to get addicted and you're going to want a bigger one and it's going to change your life. And then I moved on. And then I went and talked to Barry and his wife and hung out with him for a little bit. And they said they were having a ball. And they couldn't believe it. You know, coming to the Joe Nall for the first time, it literally blows away any expectations you would have. So it's kind of fun to see that in first timers. And glad to see some soaring and sailplanes represented well at Joe Nall.
So that electric line was going full blast, but holy cow, man, was it hot. Maybe I just went there at the wrong time of the day each day, but it was all I could do to stay alive.
It is pretty sheltered because you're kind of down low and you don't get as much wind, I don't think. And it can heat up.
So there's talk in the live chat right now. If you're not live, hit the subscribe button on this and you will be made, you'll be notified when we go live with things like this. Sometimes we also do news events when something big happens. Or have interviews or things. So it's good to hit subscribe and be notified. But the live chat is saying that this is a part of the Crashcast family. And of course, I'm a gigantic and old friend of Crash and Tim King and the whole crew, Lane, who came to see me recently. But they're trying.
Hello.
What the hell?
Everything
what
okay?
just happened?
Everything okay there, Jim T?
No, I had an airplane set up and a dog just came in and it's on the floor. It's in two pieces. Okay,
Love it. That's hilarious.
How the heck did this happen? Okay, maybe this was a sign. I had just said Crash, Lane, and Tim, and then out of nowhere, this airplane flew across the room and the wing came off. Okay, that's a little
freaky right there, man.
Holy crap. Thursday. Wow. Well, let's talk about that. So the bar stool we were just looking at is from the Crashcast family, and they're trying to keep it in the family. It's on Craigslist. I would want it, except it looks like something I might really hurt myself on. So, Jason, this is Lane's. This is the first one.
Laneplanes.com?
These nifty Normans. This is the one that everyone's seen fly on the site and on the pictures.
Yeah, it's been through some things.
Lane did not mean to sell this to me, but it was hanging on the wall and he was traveling home. And I somehow managed to talk him into, I gave him some money. I had money in my wallet. I actually had sold an airplane at the field not too long before that. And I looked at my wallet and I said, here's how much I have. And so my question to you, Jason, is this. Now, you know me, I'll try anything. When you turn this, I don't know if I can represent it.
Is it cogging kind of weird? It looks like an Axie. What motor is that?
It's I don't know.
It doesn't actually, that front doesn't look like an Axie.
It looks to me like see how it's kind of off when it goes up and down. You think it cares?
What do you mean it goes up and down?
Well, it looks like the shaft is
Oh, you think it's wobbly? Got a little wobbly? Oh yeah, that's not good. I see that.
Should I
that shaft. Is it a bolt-on motor shaft or is it the main motor shaft?
Yeah, I hadn't actually spun it like that.
I can't see from this side. Is it a collet adapter on like a little 4mm shaft, or is it a bolt-on? Okay, well, yeah, you can replace it if you can find the motor shaft, but that's definitely bent and will not be very smooth running. It'll fly, but it's not going to be very smooth. You might throw a prop.
And then here's the internals, in case anyone's interested. You
can put a baby in there.
You can see his brain if you pull this back.
Oh, it's got the light controller.
It says DX18 Model 15. But Lane stopped by and hung out with me, and I talked him out of this. So we had this in a previous podcast. But I wanted to ask Jason if he thought that was inoperable.
Yeah, I'd put a new motor on it.
Here's to Crash. I actually talked
about him. Cheers, Crash. Miss you, buddy.
There's my drink. All right. So talk to Tim King if you want to buy that thing right there. So now we're headed back down to the electric line. And it looks like whatever. It was packed. There were people everywhere.
He says, never trust anything from Lane. Probably has a bad servo too.
I will definitely check. So last night, the topic of my braids came up and me wanting to cut them off. And my wife never wants me to cut my braids and says that I won't understand what they are until I do. And then when I do, I won't want to cut them off. It seems limiting to me, that thought process. Yeah, when you do, you will. Bubba Spivey knew best. But the first thing that happened to me, I don't think you were there, is I walked up, and the very first guy I saw turned around and said, "You're Jim Graham." And I said, "Yes, sir." And I said, "Do we know each other?" He said, "No, but I know who you are." And he said, "It wouldn't be Joe Nall without your hat and those braids."
Oh, yeah.
And I told my wife last night at dinner, I said, "I guess I can't cut them because I can't ruin Joe Nall."
It's true. So true.
So there we are down on the line with all the awesome, gigantic 3D birds. There's Jesse. And, I have so many photos. I don't know if I should go through all of them. There's just so damn many.
There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah. I wonder how long it would take. And little tail dipping at the lake. And there's Ashley hugging Russell.
Oh,
wow. She really got it going there. So that is the look. So I must have jumped back on the cart. Oh, I was taking Ash back to her camp. Yeah. This is the bottom of the electric line looking all the way up. This is in front of the lake. And then the next tent row that you see at the top here, that would be the main line, which makes it look small. It's a lot bigger than that.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, so I'll jump out of here a little bit. In fact, you know what I will do? We'll go to some stories. So we have the noontime demo. This is by me. So this is photos. We can look at that a little bit.
That's a lot of expensive airplanes sitting right there.
Drive-by haircut. Oh, there would be that would get violent.
Beware.
I was a long-haired youngster, and I was laying in bed, and one of my dad's friends said, "Why don't we sneak in there while he's sleeping and cut his hair off?" And
you simply must make it to Joe Nall. Don't just say you're going to go. You actually have to go. And I'm serious. Even watching this, even us telling you about it, it's nothing compared to being there. Like you won't be able to handle it. It's crazy.
So this is the noontime demo. Everyone's setting up, and all the cool stuff is coming out on the field.
Timber XL's right there. DP.
Dog.
Little shorty.
I love this airplane. This is an ARF, right?
I don't think so.
I think it is. It's a Horizon bird. And they had two of them sitting there.
I think those were custom built, man.
No. Someone in the live chat tell us if these are ARFs or not. Somebody asked me if I built it. Kim was sitting there, and I said, and whoever it was said, "Is that yours, Billy Hill?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I made that last night." I made Kim laugh. So here's all of our photos from the noontime demos. Okay, I'm gonna have to shut my door here. One moment. Jason, you talk a little bit.
Oh man, so that's an extreme flight. So demos this year, I don't know. I went to Joe Nall back when we had full scale planes. Like Matt Chapman came down and he flew like a full scale airplane routine with Frank Knoll on an RC giant scale, and they did like a tandem routine. It was awesome and epic. They don't do full scale planes anymore. So what these end up being is some of it's manufacturer demos, and some of it's they grab the top pilots in the world and be like, put on a show for the crowd, guys. So it's more of that. It's more like seeing some of the best pilots just show their stuff, flying low, flying crazy, just really impressive flying.
That's great.
Tail touches. We had one guy right here. He got so low and he rolled and basically just slammed his wing into the ground and tore half of it off.
Can't believe I didn't get the shot.
Yeah.
He was doing low rollers and he just went swipe.
I do actually. If you go to our YouTube channel, which you're on right now, you can watch the entire noontime demo show. I captured on video, and you can go watch it and see this happen. And there was another helicopter crash, but I mean, these guys are laying it out there for the crowd. It's an air show. It's a model air show, which is really cool.
When we get to this helicopter crash, I'll tell you a little story about that. Also, I was almost hit by a jet. Jason, did we talk about that?
I know.
You didn't see me get almost hit by a jet?
Oh, you were, at the fence. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was taxiing. That was hilarious.
Because when I got up, I didn't know if anyone noticed, and Miss Ashley said, "So, almost got hit by a jet there, huh?"
I wasn't paying attention. I heard something and I looked up and you were like right there and moving it. And I was like, oh,
I thought about grabbing it
got jetted.
before it hit it. I thought, man, I should stop it. And then I was like, I ain't grabbing that jet.
$30,000.
Well, yeah, that who knows? Maybe it'll swing around and like I don't know.
Explode in your face.
So here's some more. So
that's cool, Steve.
Let's see if we can get to something else. Oh, here we go. Now this is Nick Maxwell, and who is the other guy flying, Jason?
I couldn't tell you.
Big name pilot. So this was right in front of me, and I have a rational fear of large helicopters because I've almost been hit 6 or 7 different times.
Right.
And
I backed up. It's like I went and shot it behind Kike.
One thing that they have here are fences, and they're metal and they're real and they're there for a reason. It's to hide behind if you're going to get killed. So I stay close to that. And during these things, I knew they were going to mow the grass. And so I got my grass mowing shots.
Oh yeah, look at that.
The grass is so low, there's nothing.
I know you can't really get into it.
But after this, thank you. And Nick, of course, is the he's now running Futaba. Well, we can't go past here. Jace the Ace Ducia getting ready to go up, and his Extreme Flight Bird. Yep. And that's a Jim Burke trim scheme right there, who was hanging out with us this weekend at the airfield.
But literally the best show pilot I've ever seen personally. This kid is simply out of this world level. It's crazy.
Heads and above basically everybody. I don't say that lightly. And so once again, all these are in our, okay, here we go. This is it. So this team was flying.
Yeah.
We had a jet pilot and then a female heli pilot. She was from Israel. Now, the whole time this is happening, there's a new girl working at Triple Tree doing social media who I'm behind the cage, and I'll show you why in just a minute. And okay, so they're flying the helicopter and the jet with the transmitter behind their back. Now, Chitty did this for years. It's nothing new.
Not new. Yeah.
But as this is happening, I'm looking at the girl who's new, laying on her stomach, laying on her back, and doing all these things with the heli mowing the grass just about 20 feet in front of her. And she is freaking me out. And I just had thought, I don't know this girl. You know, I know Nick Maxwell. I trust him.
Yeah.
Even it's the machine. Sometimes you got to trust. And right after I thought, I don't know this girl. Let's see if I can find it. There she is, getting low. I haven't gone through here since we left. Oh no, I didn't shoot it. I might have not shot it out of respect. She crashed that helicopter.
I got it on video. It's on the video.
And there it is in pieces on the ground back there.
Accurate.
She crashed it, and then I slid over to that young girl and I said, "Look, it's not my business to tell you what to do, but never get in front of a heli like that without any protection."
Yeah.
Somebody else in the live chat, they're talking about the grass. Somebody else was asking me, how do they get the grass so low and it doesn't die in this heat?
They do have like those golf course mowing machines, like cutting it just super low. It's awesome. It's really fantastic grass.
So we had the Flex team out, and they flew. I don't think we have photos here. Do we? They flew a new little foamy that we have a feature story on.
Oh, the VTOL, yeah, the Cypher.
It was very cool. And so, of course, countless other images.
Oh, that's cool. So Raquel Bellet, he's saying, is the female pilot.
And don't get me wrong.
He said she's the reason I started flying with the transmitter behind my back.
That's no disrespect to Raquel. I mean, I felt bad that she crashed.
No, it's an incredible demo. I mean, like you said, when you're pushing the limits that hard and then you're doing it behind your back and then everything, you know.
Yeah.
It just takes but a half a second to slip up and it's in the ground.
The problem with the heli is that it could throw a thing right off at 100 miles an hour straight at your eyeball, which I have seen hit people in the eye before.
Oh, boy.
So this is that new Havoc foamy from Horizon, and this is one of the first things Jason
Havoc XE. This thing is literally awesome, really incredible. I think they say 160 mile an hour.
That looks like some high dollar landing.
Maybe it was 140, 150, 160, somewhere around there.
Retractable. How much does this thing cost?
It's, what is it? Let me take a quick peek. Because I did an article on it, but I've had contests since then, so I've had a lot going on.
$399.
$399.
Which is also what I heard.
140 plus mile an hour on a ducted fan jet. That's crazy.
Which seems to be all the rage right now. So they've really pinged it at the right time.
Well, here's what I think is cool. So back when, I was first going to Joe Nall's and everything, all the jets were like Bob Violet models. It was like BVM jets, right? And they were great. They could slow down okay, but they were, 200 plus mile an hour turbine jets and going really fast. And you had scale stuff and, all that cool things. And then it kind of seemed like that was like the epitome of what a jet could be. And then the Havocs have really redefined jets in that whole jet market. And they're just so capable.
You've flown one, right, Jason?
I have. No, you have, and I haven't. That's crazy. I've flown a turbine jet before, but not a Havoc.
It flies like an airplane from real flight. It's just so predictable.
And they have various sizes of them, and you can get, there's, giant crazy ones and still normal size, but insanely expensive ones. And it's out of a lot of people's budgets. Honestly, it's just crazy expensive, and maybe you don't have a place to fly it and all that kind of stuff.
I think a big one's about 18,000.
Yeah. I mean, so this is an awesome, replica of what that can be in a foamy ducted fan version that basically anybody can, reasonably afford. And it performs well. It doesn't have, it's a little bit higher wing loading than the big jets. So it flies a little bit, faster on the slow speed stuff, but it still slows down really well from the demos I watched. And just looks like it handles great and does all the things you kind of expect out of a Havoc. So I think it's a brilliant plan from them. Ducted fan jets, especially right now, seem to be like rising hot stars in the market. How things kind of go in phases. And right now with the motor, speed control, and battery technology, it's like ducted fan jets are getting to be really, really performance oriented and decent long run times, and everything's just getting better. So it's the right time for this airplane, in my opinion.
Great timing. So in the live chat, Mr. Lee Marshall says that we talk about the Cypher, and that is where we're going next.
The Cypher. Yeah, I was impressed, man.
Mr. Ribby talks about it in our story. We give the features, and then we also had some on the ground photos. So you know how you see an airplane, or maybe you've seen hundreds of airplanes, and then this thing went up at the noontime, and there was just something about it that I thought made it a little cooler than usual.
Yeah.
It looked cooler, and it flew interestingly.
Yeah, I think so I don't know. The competition this thing has, if you want a VTOL, you're looking at like the Convergence, the Mini Convergence, or the X, whatever that thing was I reviewed years ago when it came out, whatever that was called. And they're fun and good, but this thing to me looks cooler, kind of looks like something the, Marines would actually have, it's, even though it's not really scale, but it's just so neat. It looks like something that maybe the Avengers would fly, in a Marvel universe. And the capability of it, the vertical takeoff, the 45-degree deal, the forward speed flight, it all just looks like it does it well, so it's something you can easily go out and enjoy and have fun with and just be so unique. So when I saw the first takeoff, I was like, wait, what is this? And it really caught my attention, and I was like, holy crap, that looks awesome.
Very cool. And so let's see something here. Do we have a link? Is it not on their page yet? Yeah. Let's see the price.
$399.99. 4 motors, there's a lot of electronics in there. So I'm not too surprised by that price, but.
And are they available? Oh, July.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
About a month away or so.
So there you go on that. It did look awesome. I would not brag on it unless it needed to be bragged on. Then we talked to the Motion RC boys, and this was a big deal. So I worked with a new company to give away our shirts this year. What's going on? Oh, there we go. And we got them. They're a little light blue. Jason, I got to say, it's not the color I was shooting for at all.
Well, hey.
They look good, though.
It's all right. It happens.
So
but guess what? There's good news, Jim.
Yeah.
You could get it in any color you want right now.
You can. And we'll talk about that in a second. And then I'll also make a point about that as well. Don't let me forget. So here's something I wasn't aware of until I watched this video. I said, Jason, let's make sure we get a video and do it right this year. I looked at all the other years that we'd done this, and I wanted to make sure we captured how long the line was. So I saw the line, but I didn't realize how far back.
Oh yeah, I was on my Segway with my phone. I was traveling down. I was like, it's a long line. It goes wrapped around behind the bathhouse.
Yeah, so there's the bathhouse, and that's kind of mentally where I saw it stop, but it keeps going past the bathhouse. And not only that, after these people all went through, that line stayed that long. There must have been another second round of people that went through.
Yeah. Well, you got people kind of standing off the side and just waiting for the line to move a little bit, and then they get in it.
And then I want to give a big thanks to all the people who volunteered to help us hand out the shirts.
Yeah, a lot of these same people were here in the fall when I was here by myself, giving out the shirts from last year's Joe Nall that got canceled. And yeah, a lot of these same volunteers came out and helped out. So it's like it's a whole thing, to be able to come and do that. And they enjoy it. I appreciate it. And it's definitely super helpful.
A lot of comments on the design, which is always nice that they like that. I did pitch out the idea about black shirts, and I got shot down 9 times out of 10 on that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was a no-go. But I could make some and order them for myself before the event.
Now, we say that. Now, look how many people in that crowd are wearing dark colored shirts.
It's true.
That's a lot.
So it was a big deal. I shook about 100 hands. Everybody was super nice. And those shirts were all over the ground for the rest of the show.
Nobody stuck around for the photo this time. Last year, I got everybody to stay and hang, and we got a giant group shot. This year, I looked when we were done, and it was like, poof.
Maybe I didn't vocalize
Everybody went to
enough.
Go to the demos line or something, I guess.
This is us hiding before we gave out the shirts. And then that's all the old shirts from previous years.
And that's one of the things I put in my report for work is how cool it is seeing all of these shirts from years past and just how people collect them. One lady's got a collection going, and she said she's nearly ready to put together one of those shirt quilts.
Yeah.
Where you take your shirts and make a quilt out of it. She's going to do that with all the Joe Nall shirts over the years, and it's going to be awesome. I want to see that when she's finished.
I wondered why she didn't talk to me. I guess she talked to you. Every year she finds me, and
that's what we were missing was Nick. Nick was making everybody stay. Needed you, Nick. We missed you, buddy. I hope you got your Joe Nall shirts because Nick, I actually did a little special thing for Nick. Did it come? Did it come? Let me know in the chat if you got them. I didn't hear anything on the messages.
Well, we appreciate everyone who stands in a long, long line. And I saw some upset users that couldn't get the right sizes for their kids. And that is something I'll try to work on next year.
Oh, and, wow. I shipped it. Like, dang, Nick, it should have been there, man. It was supposed to get there last Wednesday.
Someone got a shirt.
That's not cool.
And a big thanks to Vertical Scope for approving this. It's not cheap to give away over 700 shirts. And I will admit that the lady who hit the approval button, I got 2 in a box over here for her.
Nice.
So that went without a hitch. I'm just thinking out loud here, Jason. I'm not changing anything. No one quote me on this, but I think that the amount of people that we have down on the 3D line minutes before the noontime demo could be a problem. But if we did it on the main line, there'd be people that would be on the 3D line that have been there for 16 years and miss it. And then we might not have enough shirts to give away on the main line if we got everybody combined. So I was just trying to think out the smartest way to do it. I don't know.
I think it's good. I mean, maybe we do it an hour earlier or something to give people time to get back up.
Maybe that's it.
And then, you really have to get there early to get in line if you want to guarantee you're going to get a size you want.
I'm surprised no one from Triple Trees talked to me about it. What in the hell's going on with this servo, man? It looks like a bee's nest.
What is that? Oh, is that the MKS one? Yeah. It's got separate power, separate ground and signal, and then also a feedback telemetry. I believe it was for telemetry line. So yeah, it's an insane servo.
And who did he make this for? This big thing?
It's I don't know, people with big airplanes, but those are those. So go back to that first picture, or the this one with the two servos.
This one?
Yeah. So that the HBL 3850 right there is one that MKS worked with Jace. So that Jace wanted more power, and because he does those crazy rifle rolls and insane stuff, so he just wanted more power, more torque. And this was the servo that they created for Jace, and that's what he was flying his demos with, was that servo right there.
There should be a J in the name of that.
Yeah. I don't know if they added anything. Yeah, but it's got the X on it, and yeah, so that was a
okay. Pretty cool. Hung out with Thomas. In fact, I have my MKS shirt right back here. Then we have, that's Jason's video, so be sure and check that out. This is a video of everything that we showed pictures of, which will be choppy if I show it. And then I did my photo flood. When did that go? That was after I got home. And this thing was awesome. Did you take a good look at this, Jason?
Not that close. I didn't get to see it really up close while I was there.
So nicely done. And there were just so many awesome airplanes on the grass. That's what you go there for.
Oh, guess what, Jim? I just got an email. Kind of sort of off topic from Joe Nall, but I got an email from Tony Stillman of the AMA. It says, "Congratulations, your contest director application has been approved."
Nice.
I'm officially a CD for the AMA.
Now there's 2 contest directors in Nashville.
That's right.
Now we just need a contest. Oh, shoot. I got to get my event pre-approved.
Oh, good reminder.
It is March, April, May, June.
How about that? I just took that test. I know how many days you need to turn it in before.
30 days.
30 days.
30 days. But I always forget. I always remember, then I always forget. So let's click on here.
You got time.
So just a vast cavalcade of awesome shots. The gratuitous hangar shots here of all the cool airplanes in the hangar. Here's a guy exposing himself.
Hey.
This was awesome. That's what I was looking for, some awesome stuff. This riding lawnmower airplane.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. There's a couple of cool, like, interesting vehicles.
Well, you know, there's another one, and it's on my Facebook page because the photos were taken of me, and I didn't take photos. Well, I don't know. We'll
Seems
see.
like that would be hard to travel with, though. You probably want to do like an F-14 wing on it so you can fold it back and get through tight spaces if you need to.
This is the top of the new lounge down on the 3D line. I didn't notice this light the first 2 times I was there, but man, that thing's awesome.
You know what? And one of the guys told me that tower now, not, you know, that's the 3D gazebo thing, but the tower is actually operational. They use it for full-scale events, and they run air and ground control from it during events.
Nice.
Isn't that pretty cool?
I didn't know it until Ash told me she was up there during one of the events. And,
cool.
But I didn't think they actually did that. So this, of course, is the pond full of smoke. And boy, I'm going too fast here. Smoke and tail dipping airplanes.
There you go. It's a Joe Nall tradition. Going way back. You remember when all we had was the main lake and you had to walk from the main line with your airplane flying all the way down to the lake to dip your tail and then back? Those were the days.
And then, of course, these photos are always fun. People coming up with creative ways to move their birds down the line. And this was cool. Did you see this? It was a tour bus with Joe Nall in the.
Ah, sweet.
And then this was in the main hangar. The guy who built this was up there, and they were very proud of him, all his friends. So they were like, they demanded we take photos of this wing, which looks maddening, doesn't it? There he is.
A lot of work right there.
Very proud.
Yeah, man.
Here's the end of the day. We were down the hill on the heli line, and these people were on top of the hill. And I was like, I need this man to sit down, and I want the dog
and play the banjo.
Down, down. I just watched that scene the other night. And then, of course, there's more. What am I missing here, Jason? Is there more we need to talk about?
Just keeps going. That was a cool painting.
Yeah, we'll click on that. So on the noontime, different teams sit around their airplanes. This is a youth group that they go to Triple Tree and they're being taught to fly, and so they flew a demo. And this is Triple Tree getting the youth involved in the hobby. And that pilot that they had looked pretty serious. This is my mentor and hero of RC event coverage, Jerry Smith. I forget how old Jerry is. He's in his 90s. And so this is Mr. Pat. Just Mr. Pat's the head honcho of Triple Tree. He originated. It was his idea. He had the first Joe Nall.
I asked Jerry if he was taking any photos, and he says, "No, I'm just enjoying this one."
Williams RC,
you deserve it.
He does deserve. That is the Jim Burke scheme, and that is done with permission from Jim. That actually all happened when Jim still owned RCGroups, and he was like, "Take care of it, Jim T." So it's out of my hands now, though, because Jim is out of the RCGroups family as far as ownership goes, and so the act, that's a whole nother deal. What's going on now? But they commemorated Jerry and all the years of promotion for this show that he did for them, and he's being appreciated. This is Miss Jessie, and she is presenting Triple Tree, a painting done by it was a lady, but she's an AMA member, and this is the 3D line. And I was noting, Jason, that that is an Andrew Jeske trim scheme, correct?
Yes, it is.
And then we've got an orange shirt. I was just looking at what they decided to put in the photo.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, close up.
I thought it was, she said something about this is what, like something about what Joe Nall means or something to us. And I was like, well, where's the scale planes and jets? You know, it's only a 3D plane hovering.
Maybe a series.
More than just that. But no,
maybe it's each year there could be.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
And so they were commemorating people that were doing things.
Oh, we got the 1910 Henry Farman to talk about too.
Well, that was quite a deal, and I don't know how to think about it really. It was a pretty good shot.
There's definitely some interesting discussion about that plane on the YouTube channel.
So this is the rest of, what day would this be?
This has got to be Friday now. Yeah.
This thing was awesome, but I believe it had some sort of trouble, and they brought it in early.
Yeah, ended it early.
I was waiting for some awesomeness. We can't look at everything here. Here's I stumbled upon Ashley doing the modeling with airplanes.
Hey, there's me. Photo bombed it.
Where you at? Did you?
Go back. Yeah, right there.
I didn't even see that. Nice. So there's a lot of that. And so the Furman, we will find this in a second. Oh, that's nice. More photos. There it is. Okay. I was wondering if it would be in this. So we did a story. Did you put that story up, didn't you, Jason?
I did. I sure did, man.
So we'll go look at that video here in a second. So they started building this when Joe Nall started, and I've Lane and the Crash Boys did the same thing where they started building a thing when the show started. And I thought that looks like the worst idea ever to work in a hangar for the entirety of an event.
Week.
And they did, though. You know, that's what they want to do.
I guess I see the appeal. Like, you've been out in the hot sun, and then, like, maybe you want to come in and glue a couple things, you know, just add something different to do to your Joe Nall experience. But, yeah, it's a lot of work.
So we came in about a quarter or halfway through, and then they finally wheeled it out on Friday. And now I didn't think the Flybaby was going to fly. They did this with the full-scale Flybaby, but it did fly. So they got Jace the Ace. There's not really cookies in that pan. I asked. They got Chase the Ace to man the sticks, and everyone came out. Whoop, too fast. Everyone came out to see this thing take off, and they wheeled it out. These are all the people that took part in it, and so okay, that's a good place to stop. Let me jump to the story. Top story. Here it is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a couple things that needed changing, but
RCGroups.com.
The BAP itself. Yeah, I agree, Nick.
Okay, so this is us. talking to Saul, and he's giving us a tour in the shop. These are people working on it. There's a wing. Okay, I'm just going to skip around here and get to it. So there's the airfoil. Here's the motor, and the batteries, of course, live on the other side.
He piqued my attention when he said, this is a motor they use in electric paragliding. I'm like, yes, I'll take that motor. That's not big enough for you guys.
Based on what I saw here, I do not think it would be safe. So, no disrespect. I'm sure this plane will fly.
Well, I weigh a lot less than that airplane.
There's all their flying wires. People just coming in and doing it. And then it's always exciting when they wheel it out. Everyone stops what they're doing and starts fighting. It's like a small parade.
Yeah. I mean, hands down, biggest airplane at the show.
So there's the cookies. Everyone's getting their photos. I did an interview with Chase the Ace. He was not at all worried. So I'm saying that somebody in the crowd said that he was probably pooping his pants, which I thought was probably inappropriate for the video, but Jace affirmed that he was not, in fact, pooping his pants. Okay, so here we go. It's rolling out. Tails come up.
Yeah, you got the tail up.
That's it.
Full power, not enough. Not enough juice.
I might have given it one more run, you know.
Yeah, I maybe put a ramp out there and let it jump off the ramp, glide for a minute.
So what were the theories? Just not enough thrust?
Well, yeah, definitely. They were under propped on the prop. That was just the biggest prop they could get, you know, at the show. So it didn't have enough thrust. And then there's all these theories on YouTube about it, about the airfoil design, about the flat surface area on the motor firewall that was open on the original design, and you know, whatever. You put enough power on anything, a brick will fly, you know. So it's just like, who knows? But it needs definitely more thrust, more power, and whether that's new prop, bigger batteries, you know, more voltage, whatever needs to happen, something needs to happen. Put a gas engine on it, whatever. They'll make it fly. I'm not worried about it.
Well, I just want to, my personal reflection on Joe Nall 2019 was a crazy amount of positivity. Usually there's something going on here or there that you have to kind of be aware of, you know, and that was not the case this year. Everybody was there was nothing. It was all fun, and everyone was in a great mood, and tons of people coming up and just wanting to talk about the site or the planes or whatever. And for me, it's probably one of the most positive years. I mean, there was nothing negative about the whole thing.
And the lemonade stand, I know you're listening, because why wouldn't you be? But if you need to make it to the lemonade stand, I went over there and I was super dehydrated. I was like, I gotta have some liquids, guys. I was like, should I go lemonade or should I go one of your icy things, like your frozen stuff? And they were like, we can mix them. And I was like, yes, do that. I bought a $5 like icy lemonade thing, and it was big. It was pretty massive. And I went and I grabbed it, and then I walked over and participated in the AMA meeting, which we should talk about that. But man, that $5 thing of lemonade saved my life. It was awesome.
And I went off the sugar this year, and I didn't get one for that reason, but a lady came up and she said, I had them make it without sugar. And I got to say, it's really, really good. Yeah. So there's that option too. So I want to say I never, ever intentionally miss the AMA meeting, but somehow Joe Nall always gets me. And then I'm always there when it's over. So what did I
saw Jessie. I saw Jessie and gave her a hug. And I was like, what's going on? And she was like, oh, they're getting ready to have the AMA meeting. And she was like, and anybody that goes gets a free dinner afterwards. And I was like, I'm so there. I'm hungry. So I went and sat in. I'm glad I did, because, you know, Rich got to talk about some things, and it covered some topics that are important for all of us. And I actually came away from the meeting pretty jazzed about the future of the hobby, and it's not all doom and gloom with the FEA. So he started out, they introduced all like the VPs and everybody that was there, but then he got into the meat of the meeting, which was about the FAA, you know, law stuff, right? So He was like, if you just read that memo on the face of it, it sounds really bad, but here's what's really happening. They spent like $600,000 on lobbying efforts last year with the government, and it's a drop in a bucket compared to the Amazons and Googles and what they're doing. But they're literally are out for the hobbyists and are lobbying and trying to work with them and get it to where these rules don't affect the hobby people very much, and is reasonable. So that's exciting. But so a couple of things that I was interested in hearing about and they talked about was the two main issues are the 400-foot ceiling, because I'm a sailplane pilot, and then the remote identification. And so both of those I felt were addressed in ways that are going to be not a big deal to the hobbyist, right? So the 400-foot thing, he was saying, basically any AMA sites, if you're flying from an AMA location, AMA event, basically an AMA affiliated site, they've got the majority of those sites already entered into an FAA database, and they will have, whenever that law comes into effect or whatever, you're basically going to have waivers for those sites. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to apply for it personally. You don't have to do anything. You're waived from those things. You can essentially operate just business as usual like you've always done, which is great. And then that also applies for the remote identification I'll talk about in a second. Now, there are going to be some sites that are within 3 or 5 miles of airports, and currently those are already have like some altitude restrictions, but they have letters of agreement for a lot of these sites with the airports. And it says, it's just a letter, and the FAA is going to require it, and it just lays out the ground rules for the site. Some of those sites may have altitude limits. Maybe it's not 400 feet, maybe it's 600, maybe it's some other random thing based on the location and the proximity to that airport and landing patterns, takeoff patterns, all that stuff. So that's going to be on a kind of a site-by-site basis. But for the most of us, we're going to be able to operate. We're going to be able to host our sailplane events. We can go over 400 feet. Doesn't matter. It's all good. Now, the remote identification stuff created a lot of fury and just questioning and what it's going to do to the hobby. And are we going to have to buy really expensive technology and put in every one of our airplanes so it sends out a remote identification that enforcement agencies can just look at? Oh, okay, that's that person's airplane. That might happen for commercial drones, for professional, that industry, but for the hobbyist, it's really not going to be a big deal. Again, all the AMA flying sites are going to be, it's not necessarily a waiver, but it's kind of a waiver. But basically, if you're flying from an AMA affiliated flying site, that is your identification. You're flying from that field. They know model airplane activities are happening there. There's no requirement on your airplane. There's no equipment to buy. You just go out and fly business as usual. So that's cool. Now, there's a lot of guys that go fly in their backyards at the local park. They travel, whatever. You go to different places and fly. So this is where nobody really knows for sure what's going to happen yet. It's not in place. The FAA doesn't know. But here's what Rich speculated and just his guess of what might happen. And I was like, okay, well, even if that happens, that's not that big of a deal. But he says, here's my thinking of it. I can see an application on your phone. It's got GPS. It knows where you are. So if you go out to the park, you got your phone out, there's an app, and you go into the app and you say, I'm going to fly from 9 to 10 o'clock or 10 to 11 or whatever amount of time. I'll be flying from here. You submit it, you're done. That's your identification for flying at that location for that time, and you're done. You don't have to, again, not buying transponders. You're not buying radio equipment. It sounds fairly reasonable. It's kind of stinks that we might have to do some extra steps and to be legal. It's just the nature of where we're at in this world with technology and drones and all that stuff happening. It does no good to blame drone pilots to doing that stuff. We just need to move forward and create reasonable rules that makes the public feel safe, makes the government happy with what's happening, and still allows us the freedom to fly as we've done in the past. So I think I came away from it feeling good about the future, and that the hobby's not going to go away, and it's not going to be just ruled, lawed out from the big businesses wanting to use the airspace. So sounds like we're going to be great, in good shape, and that's exciting for the future.
Awesome. What a great recap, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to say a big thank you to everyone we got to talk to at Joe Nall. It really made my Joe Nall, and all the people that get out there and work on the ground. So there's only 1 or 2 paid people that actually work at Triple Tree, and the rest are volunteers. So big thanks to all of those volunteers and everyone who supports Triple Tree through your donation. You can always you can look up Joe Nall or Triple Tree, find the website, and donate. The goal is that it stays in the RC family for decades to come and future generations. And the only way that'll happen is if we keep donating and going there and doing all that good stuff. With all that said, Jason Cole and I are getting ready to go out next week to the Horizon E-Fest. Jason, I have a question. I'm very close to having everything buttoned down on the red truck.
That's right. The LRT.
We're taking the 64. And my question is, are you bringing in any airplanes that I need to be aware of?
It's possible. I'm still waiting on parts for my new discus launch gliders to get ready for the Worlds. There will be time to fly up there. So if I get those parts in and get a plane finished in time, I might bring 1 discus launch glider.
And how does that travel? Do I need to
come off? It's really small. Yeah.
I was about to go and get a bigger piece of wood to keep all my tools and stuff slid to the front, so as not to.
I could essentially just lay this on top of something and put a little blanket or towel on top and be good to go. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Okay. And there was one other thing, but anyway, that's where we're going next. So keep an eye. The other thing is we are scheduled to interview the new CEO of Horizon. So dog nubbit, I'll do it in the morning. I'm going to create my questions for that interview and have those ready for us when we get out of town. And so you can look for that. I don't believe it certainly will not go out live, but it will go out on the YouTube channel. And then I'll probably do a feature story and feature it on the site as well that way. So that'll be cool. So there's some interesting things happening. I thought it was really cool that Horizon contacted me today to say, hey, the president wants to do an interview with RCGroups and Flying Giants, because that means that we're important to them, and he actually knows who we are, and all those things are wonderful things. I've met him before, actually, at Joe Nall about 3 years ago. He's a younger guy. All right, y'all. Well, Jason, thanks for all the hard work at Joe Nall. It seemed like it was one of the easier Joe Nalls that we've gone to.
Yeah, I think the weather helped with that quite a bit.
I think my hard drive was the most stress I had. Yeah, and if I'd have known the hard drive was actually smoked, I'd have just put it back in its bag and gone out on the pasture. So, and the exciting news is my little Mac Air will be here tomorrow, and I'm super excited.
Take it to Nall next year and bury it there. It's proper.
I think I'm going to get this thing back to life. Although if I haven't done it yet, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I haven't given up yet. So,
yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks for joining us live for 2 broadcasts today. That is all. Jason, thank you. And we're out of here.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Peace out, y'all. Enjoy. Go fly something. Have fun. Get some kids involved.
Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe button. I always feel like we're not getting out to enough people on this YouTube channel, and it's really all about the hobby, and that's what we're talking about here. So get it going. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, E-Powered. Thanks, Hornet Z, Nick, and everyone else out there. I'm hitting the button. Send it out now.